Hi, my name is Simeon Doman, and welcome to Como Jewelry's first YouTube episode. Today, I'm here with Chris Keller, graduate gemologist and Joplin store manager of Como Jewelry. We're excited to talk to you today about how to best buy a diamond. And in this, we'll be explaining the ins and outs of it, how for you to get your best deal, and what we can do to help make that possible. So, we're going to dive right in today, and I'm going to go ahead and start asking Chris some questions about different things, such as, what are the 4 C's and what different things we can go about doing to best get our diamonds. So, Chris, go ahead and tell us, what are the 4 C's, please?
Well, the 4 C's are what everybody always thinks of when they go to buy a diamond, and they're very important. It's cut, color, clarity, and carat weight.
Okay.
Obviously, the carat weight's pretty self-explanatory. That's going to be what the diamond weighs, and more or less measures within a certain millimeter range. The color is going to be the lack of color in a diamond, or the saturation of color in a diamond. So, for instance, the color scale starts at D. There is no A, B, or C. Starts at D and it goes to Z. D means it's completely void of color. Z, when you get down to Z, it means it's got some pretty noticeable, very noticeable yellow or brown color to
Absolutely.
it. And then those grades in between are just kind of a gradual succession of color from D down to Z.
Okay.
Clarity is going to be what the diamond looks like, either sometimes with the naked eye, sometimes under magnification. The grade is set under 10 power magnification. But with certain clarity grades, you can see eye visible clarity characteristics, which are there naturally in virtually all diamonds.
Absolutely.
It's just to what extent they are there as to what sets that clarity grade. If you have a VS1, for example, gonna be that stone is gonna be loop clean, eye clean for sure, loop clean probably. It's gonna be you're not gonna really see anything unless it's highly magnified. And then you have your SIs, VVSs. Those are all different clarity grades that denote what the stone, what kind of clarity characteristics, maybe where they're located, things like that. So finally is cut. Cut, in my opinion, is the most important, but often the most overlooked. A lot of people think cut is just simply the shape of the diamond. Well, that's partly right, but it's also the proportions of the diamond. The proportions are very important because that is what gives diamond its light refraction. So if a diamond is too shallow or too deep in relation to its dimensions, it will lose light, maybe leak out the bottom, or make the diamond maybe look dark. It can do all kinds of different things.
So you're saying we should most likely, when walking into a store to buy a diamond, immediately look for the cut almost everything else?
Yeah. I think it's important to, you may have a shape in mind that you like. You may like a round brilliant cut, which is kind of the king of the shapes and the one that everybody thinks of when they think of a diamond.
Sure.
But you're maybe already going to have a carat weight in mind. But yeah, first and foremost, what I look at when I'm buying diamonds for the store is the cut quality of it. Because if you have the most colorless and clearest diamond in the world, it could be D flawless. If it's not cut well, it won't sparkle, plain and simple.
So, Chris, lately in these last couple of years, we've been hearing about this so-called lab-grown diamond. Could you tell us, is there a difference between a lab-grown diamond and a natural diamond?
Chemically, no. They're identical. The primary difference is that the natural diamond took millions of years to form in the earth. The lab grown maybe took 3-4 weeks in a lab to form. So yeah, I have a very expensive piece of gemological equipment that tells me the difference between the two. But they're somewhere, they can be somewhere 30-40%
So you're telling me I can't go into a jewelry store and tell with my own eye the difference between a lab-grown diamond and a natural diamond?
No,
Okay.
not with the naked eye. Again, it's a very expensive piece of gemological equipment. It's very important that you.
Where could I
trust.
learn more about this?
Well, we have a
lab-grown?
YouTube video,
Okay.
kind of explaining a little more in depth on the differences between lab grown and natural. But you know, like I said, it's very important that you just trust who you're buying the stone from, so that you know you're getting what you pay for.
Absolutely.
You know, versus whether it's a natural or a lab grown.
And Chris, let's say I just moved to a new area and I don't really know the jewelry stores in my area well. I haven't established that trust with them yet. Is there anything else I can use in order to give me the right information on whether it's a lab-grown diamond or a natural diamond?
Yeah, there's certainly diamond reports out there. You know, they'll say whether they're a natural or a lab grown. They'll have the grades and the cut grades, the colors, the clarities, all that stuff. So yeah, you can certainly use that as a tool to help you, especially if you don't really, you know, if you have any kind of reservations at all.
Absolutely.
And I promise you, jewelers don't get offended at all if you ask for a diamond report on a diamond. So yeah, you can use those. But I would also say that you can't just buy a diamond based on what that piece of paper says. You need to see it, because the paper does not tell, by any stretch of the imagination, everything about a diamond. But it can be a tool if you want to use it.
So Chris, say that I found a diamond and I'm at the store. Should I be looking for any type of certification?
Well, again, it goes back to the lab reports. You know, if you trust who you're buying it from, you don't necessarily have to have the third-party certification. Because let's face it, that's an extra step in the process of a diamond from mine to retailer. So it is an added expense. So you can buy diamonds uncertified, but you know, if you trust the jeweler that they're being straightforward with you on what that diamond is, what its color is, what its clarity is, that it's natural, whether it's lab grown, then you don't have to have that. But again, it's a tool you can use that all jewelers, to my knowledge, certainly can provide. So.
Absolutely. So Chris, when looking for diamonds, I've read through a lot of diamond reports, and on all of them, I've seen this one word, fluorescence. Could you explain that more in depth for us, please?
Yeah, so fluorescence is what a diamond looks like under long wave UV light. So sometimes about 25-35% of diamonds have some degree of fluorescence. And so if you would put a diamond that has a degree of fluorescence under long wave UV, more often than not, it would glow some shade of blue. It would glow blue. So, and long wave UV is part of sunlight or daylight. But of the 25-35% of diamonds that have this, only about 10% of them are impacted, the appearance is impacted by fluorescence. So if it has weak fluorescence, weak blue fluorescence, odds are you're never going to notice it unless you hold it under a black, a long wave UV light or black light. But if it, for example, if it has strong blue fluorescence, then it very well could affect the appearance of the diamond. It might be hazy looking or oily looking. So that's just something that you just kind of need to see the diamond in person to know whether that is going to impact it or not.
I know you might not be allowed to tell us this, and I know this is what we're all really looking for, but what's your sweet spot when you're buying a diamond?
Sure, no, I'll be glad to tell you. I tell clients all the time where my personal opinion is. So, best bang for my buck, quote unquote, and what I typically look for when I'm buying for inventory for the store is I like to be in that HIJ color range, which is still in the near colorless realm of the color scale. And you know, in the SI2 to maybe I1, some I1s, and again, this is where you have to see the stone in person, because not all I1s are equal, not all SI2s are equal. But there are some I1s that look really good face up. You can't really see anything too noticeable as far as clarity goes. And I like to have, you know, a very good to excellent cut grade. So those factors together, to me, give you the best looking diamond for the money. Now, we would all love to be able to buy a D internally flawless, but that's not usually the reality. So that's kind of like where I like to be, because color's not extremely important to me personally, but clarity, I'd like to have something that's eye clean, and something that's cut really, really well, and that thing will pop.
All right, Chris, thank you so much. That was great information. Is there anything else that you could tell us that could help us out just even more?
Well, I think just go to comojewelry.com. That's COMEAU, as you see on the sign there. And there's a lot of information there on the 4 C's and all kinds of other information as far as jewelry repair, things like that, all the services we offer. So, you know, and we have some information on our YouTube channel. So, you know, some videos we've been trying to put together. So.
Awesome. Well, you heard it here first, guys. This is the best way to buy a diamond. Like down below, please subscribe. Let us know what you think in the comments is the best way to buy a diamond. And we will see you next time.